Yeah.
Hope there's one left on the leaf.
Yeah, there's the whole. Just eat that.
Have to chew on half of a Slim Jim for dinner. Cookie for us.
Oh.
Dinner of champions, right?
Yeah.
All right, 7:00, we'll call this meeting to order. Start with pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, review the sign-in sheet. I see we have Mike Fitzgerald. We'll get you out of the way right away if that's okay.
Yeah, works for
Unless
me.
you want to hang around.
Just wanted to know if you guys have got any updates on the widening project 222, or if anyone from PennDOT was coming today.
You know,
There is,
reviewing something in a stack of stuff here.
I can cut that if you want me
Maybe
to.
Scott can talk.
I mean, I'm gonna hang tight, so I mean, if you don't want to go out of order, that's fine, but that's my main reason for being here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too out of order. I mean, the township received notifications from the consultant that is processing the permits. By law, they have to provide notices to the township on certain steps of a permit. And in this case, they have two culverts that are involved in the widening. And as it reads on their description is, the project proposes to widen 222 from Schaefer's Road. That's the roundabout that has the three-leg intersection right now. From there to Kutztown Bypass to 4 lanes and include two roundabouts. It doesn't say exactly where those are. But, the permit will be needed to replace the bridge over Musselman Creek Wetland Complex and for crossing an existing culvert carrying an unnamed tributary to Musselman Creek. I think that one is the one closest to Berkeley Golf Course between that and the shed company there. I'm not sure where the other one is. But all they really ask of the township is to acknowledge whether or not there's comprehensive plans, zoning plans, and if they've gotten approval. So obviously, it was going to be something that I asked the board in this case, simply to have me fill out this municipal land use response letter, provide that to them, letting them know that there hasn't been any updates as far as the plan or any approvals from the township. My question is did they get any approvals from the township on previous phases at all, or did they need to?
Up to my knowledge.
Yeah. So it's simply an update that allows them to know that the township got notified. And I feel it's always better to respond back with this. You don't have to in 30 days if they don't get a response. They just assume there's no comments from the township, but it's better to let them know that we're notified. The consultant's information's on here. I'm just going to request that they send any plans if they have them, just so that the township can have a more update on when that process will be. But
So I guess what you're
that's really
saying
at this
is
point.
you're looking for final plans?
Not necessarily final plans, just any updates. I did have a decent contact with a guy at PennDOT from the meeting we had out at the university. The guy, he would respond, he would answer phone calls, he would answer emails, but apparently he was too responsive. He got fired. So I have no contact with him. The ambulance chasers, so to speak, are out. We're starting to get letters from different lawyers willing to represent you in in eminent domain cases. So
I'm
obviously,
not 100% sure they even have final plans made.
yeah, so
I had several conversations with their consulting and their design people, and they didn't have clear direction which way they were going. That might have been 8 months ago now.
Right.
But they seem to they're delaying the project.
Right.
I think
the last conversation I had, his name was Jeff Gollum, something like that. He told me early spring is when they were going to start acquiring properties. And then that coincided with starting getting these letters from lawyers offering to represent us probably 45 days ago. So I'm assuming those lawyers have some sort of inside information that, hey, let's start going after these people because they're going to get letters soon. I've even gotten, with some of these letters, I've gotten maps of my property, and it says, proposed retention pond, offering to help us, guide us through this, and, out of the goodness of their heart. And, I know, you guys probably get little to no information, just like we get little to no information. It's just, I'm just trying to figure out what to do. I mean, the property, I need to spend some money on this property, but I hate to go drop $30,000 in repairs on this property, and then a month later, 2 months later, get a notice from PennDOT that says, hey, we're going to buy your place and knock it down. And that 30 I spent on it is going to mean absolutely, it's just going to be wasted. So I get it's not on you guys, and I just thought maybe I'd check to see if anyone from PennDOT showed up tonight, but.
no, unfortunately, you're not the only one that's in that boat.
Right, no, I know it is, I know it's a position a bunch of people are in. I just don't want to throw
But
away.
I think they keep it as quiet as they possibly can until they have to,
Did they have a kickoff meeting? It might have been at the university where they did show an initial layout of the plan.
Right, but they stress over and over and over that this is
not fine.
preliminary and
And they
may or
did
may
modify
not.
it multiple times.
I was going to say they usually kind of have a couple iterations of changing that before they ever provide the township with an official plan after that,
Right.
as an update, just to give anybody idea where they're at. But, I mean, this kind of gives an opportunity for us to start asking questions and see if they will provide them.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how much they'll provide, but obviously they're starting their permitting off of some type of design.
Sure.
So
yeah, I don't care whether they take it or not. I just don't want to throw good money after that.
We get it. I will continue to professionally stand by and see what happens. And
No, that's all I needed.
if they have something, I'll let you know.
Appreciate it.
All right. Approval of the minutes from the February 12th meeting.
Look good to me.
Yeah, okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? New business, code enforcement. Jeff?
All right. For the period ending, this would have been February 24th. There were 11 permits issued with an improvement value of $267,352.94. And then just a couple projects going on. I did speak with the engineer working for the land development plan at 604 Crisscross. Mr. Fitzgerald's property, I think we're getting close with that. Have a couple postings that we have to do. 13929 Kutztown Road. That was work without a permit. I did have a site meeting with the owner and the engineer and the contractors there, and I think I got it through that there will be no work until a permit's issued. And the drawings that were provided were not really anything. It was a layout. There was nothing structural. So he's going to be providing us with these drawings so we can get that permit issued. Then my favorite property, I think we've just about at the end of I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Mr. Lindenmuth's shed was delivered. I was there a little over 2 weeks ago. He's got some things he has to get into it. So that was also the day that the hearing was held. I did not go to the hearing. He had pled guilty, paid a $500 fine, and he just needed a couple weeks to finish cleaning it up and get everything in the building. So I think, another week or two, I'll probably get out there. Hopefully everything will be taken care of. So I'm waiting for him to call me and set up that other inspection. And that's pretty much where we're at.
Wonderful. All right, thank you. CEO report. Not much going on there. Police report. Chief's here.
I'm here. Good evening. Patrol hours, 323 patrol hours. We had 174 incidents, 12 crash investigations, issued 25 traffic citations, additional 8 hours of traffic checks, 65 traffic stops, 28 hours of criminal investigations and follow-up, and 8 hours of court time. I won't go into every single one of these, but I know you guys are fighting for time here. Domestic assault, a male assaulted a female in the house and then pulled a knife on her and threatened her from there. He was taken into custody and charged with multiple offenses. She was transported to the hospital for treatment for her injuries. 8 o'clock in the morning, we had a DUI at the Sheets. I forget what he was. He was like a 1-7 or something for 8 o'clock in the morning. He was taken into custody and booked. Another retail theft at the Sheets. A couple of thefts. One was a theft of a trailer skid steer. It's supposed to be worth about $20,000. Turned out that his buddy borrowed to go get the oil changed and didn't tell him. There was no theft. Disorderly conduct out the adult bookstore. Male and female having sex in the backseat of a car. We didn't file any charges on it, but I don't think they'll come back anytime soon. And let's see here. And then we had an incident at a township residence just outside the borough on the south side, where an ex-wife showed up after about 10 years, walked into the guy's house. He calls the police. She takes off running. She tries to run from us. We get her into custody, and we end up charging her with false ID to law enforcement, public intox, because she admitted to just using meth just prior to the incident. And another drug possession, just some small amount of marijuana and paraphernalia. File charge on that. Personnel, part-time officer James Pollock, he's released from the FTO program, so he's now covering shifts. And the department's also going to have a coffee with a cop / fraud seminar Wednesday, April 3rd at 9:30 a.m. in the community center cafe in Fleetwood. That's all I had. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Virginville, fire. All of that. Yep. All righty. Motion to approve resolution 2024-11 intergovernmental agreement between Berks County Board of Appeals. Good reason why we shouldn't. I don't think we should. I'll make a motion that we approve that.
I'll second.
All in favor? East Bend Manufacturing, loading dock expansion paper. And actually 2 years, it looks like.
Yeah, they are here tonight to discuss it. There was a plan at the planning commission level for both of these. The recommendation for both of them from the planning commission was for a waiver of land development, although there's some details on each one of them. And I don't know if you want to just kind of go through each one of the projects, just to kind of give them a better update on that.
Yep, so my name is Chris Williams. I work for Barry Isaac and Associates. I'm a civil engineer on these projects. So with the S1 loading dock, I have an aerial too. I'll just leave this up here so you can see where we're talking about on the campus. So the plan for S1 is to expand the existing loading dock on the east side of the S1 building. It's a 2,166 square foot building addition. And the addition will serve the same purpose as the current area, providing access to 3 docks. The steel structure over the docks will support a new dust collector that will provide ventilation for East Penn manufacturing employees and improve indoor air quality. The project's not increasing stormwater runoff because it's constructed over top of existing impervious areas. And the total earth disturbance is about 2,845 square feet. So we're asking for a waiver of land development due to the limited size of the project, limited earth disturbance, and no change in the amount of stormwater runoff.
They submitted both plans. This plan, when we reviewed it, as he said, there is an expansion of the building, relatively speaking, compared to the size of the S1 building. It's rather small, but it's only a 2,100 square foot addition. The purpose is for the air filtration improvements. There is no intention to increase staff at that location for this. It's just kind of an expansion inside and a relocation of the loading docks as well, just to kind of put them in a little bit of a better position. Stormwater, per definition, it doesn't meet a stormwater requirement. It's not enough disturbance on the plans to trigger having to get a ENS approval. It's less than 5,000 square feet. If it changes, obviously we're asking for that. But we were in support of that waiver of request as they were requesting. I would recommend, if you were to follow that, to recommend a conditional upon our February 23rd letter. That includes having them follow any zoning requirements, building permits as well.
I don't see a reason why we shouldn't.
No, the drawings makes sense.
I'll make a motion that we approve that with the letter from,
Conditional on the February 23rd letter.
conditional February 23rd letter.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What's the second?
All right, thank you. So the second one is at the wastewater treatment plant, which is just to the southeast of the project we just talked about. So I'll just give you a little bit of background on the treatment plant first. So the plant treats wastewater from East Penn Manufacturing's facility and discharges the effluent to the Lyonsboro Municipal Authority. The Municipal Authority holds the permits with Delaware River Basin Commission and PADEP. And the proposed treatment plant expansion is permitted through an existing agreement between East Penn and the Municipal Authority. So there's no permits required for this expansion from DEP or DRBC. Based on East Penn's coordination with the authority and their engineer, we understand that the authority's permit with DRBC and DEP is going to have some new effluent limits in the near future. So one of those limits is total dissolved solids, TDS, and the limit is currently 1,059 parts per million, and it's being reduced at some point in the near future to a level in the 800s. So these improvements are intended to enhance East Penn's treatment capabilities and proactively ensure that the new lower levels are not exceeded by the borough. So this project's been designed with a few goals in mind. First, to enhance the treatment capabilities of the plant and proactively help the borough meet their anticipated TDS limit reduction. Second, we want to manage stormwater runoff from the plant's impervious increase. So this is accomplished by directing a portion of the existing plant's roof into the plant, and so runoff from the roof will be incorporated into the treatment process, allowing them to reuse that water on site. So there'll be less runoff in the proposed condition. And then third, we're able to keep the disturbance under 5,000 square feet. So we've designed the new building's floor to be elevated a couple feet from the existing floor. And that allows us to put the building over some existing concrete areas so that we're not disturbing those areas. So we have a bigger building footprint than where we're actually disturbing, because we're not disturbing part of that building footprint. So in the past, we've asked for waivers from land development on projects that were under 5,000 square feet of disturbance. So we're asking for that same waiver tonight. And last week, we talked about also, was it a stormwater agreement to be executed?
Yeah, there was, some of the discussion we had at the planning commission level was that this one does have enough disturbance on the, its existing grass area, so it would actually qualify for the stormwater. It's pretty unique in that they can take much more than what they already are, well, what they'll be creating from that impervious. They're actually taking some of the rain leaders from the existing building, and even though they're increasing the impervious area by 3,500 and change, they're actually going to be able to reuse, what was it, 13,000 square foot. So basically they have a pretty significant decrease just in general that will be reaching their stormwater facilities. For that reason, I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but because they are treating that much and just reducing the volume in general, they're not infiltrating per the ordinance, but again, since it's a unique situation, I actually think it's meeting the general idea of the ordinance to try to infiltrate it or reduce the volumes. I think in that case, the groundwater recharge, water quality stream bank, by definition, they're not meeting those. They would technically need a waiver associated with the stormwater ordinance. So that's part of what they would need on this one. But going back to the site, going back to the improvements, the planning commission, if there's a waiver, given the fact that it was a 5,000 square foot building that they're adding on, wanted to see that there was something recorded to document what was actually occurring instead of just having this discussion. So the thought was to have the stormwater plan along with the stormwater agreement recorded so that it did capture what was actually occurring here as far as the improvements. That's what, with that discussion is what allowed or got the planning commission on board to recommend a waiver of the land development on this one. I don't know if I missed anything there, Chris, or this.
I think that was pretty much the bulk of the discussion.
I have some concerns about stormwater at East Penn, but that's a conversation for another day that I think will be popping up in the near future. But if you're confident that there's no impact here of stormwater.
I think just to clarify that, so the treatment plant, that is primarily to address that, the levels that need to be reduced at the plant. So that's what's going to be the main use for that. How exactly is the reuse of the water occurring in this process, and where does that reused water go then?
Well, in the plant, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the plant, there's a lot going on. There's treatment for the stormwater, or for the wastewater that's being discharged to Lyons, but there's also water reuse component already incorporated in the plant where they're reusing some of the water and sending it back to the plant for cooling and.
The water reuse is process related, so nothing leaves the property, so to say, until it reaches that wastewater point, but it's all being reused in the process, not discharged.
And what was the thought again for the rainwater?
So about, yeah, so out of the, I'm not sure what the total footprint of the existing building is, but maybe half of the existing building, they would capture the runoff from that area and in the gutter system and bring it into the building and incorporate it into that process that they already have where they could reuse that water and use it on site, reduce the demand on wells that they're currently using. So kind of swapping impervious, add a little bit of impervious over here, but take some out of that stormwater equation elsewhere.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the footprint of the expansions here. This building continues beyond the picture over to this area. There's a larger roof area, and that's, they're capturing some of the existing plus the proposed, which gives them not quite triple.
So those improvements would be spelled out in that stormwater agreement, And they would also be shown on plumbing plans that would be submitted for building permit review.
Should we have any exceptions or tie this to anything in your mind? I don't have a reason why. I mean, we should.
No, I think I would, again, I think we can recommend that and make that conditional on a February 23rd letter. And then I'll capture some of the same comments with the zoning building permits that are required, as well as the discussion of planning commission.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve it. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you. Do we need a motion on the waivers too? Should we talk about that more? Or are they just not required?
Yeah, I don't know if the planning commission, did they take action on the waivers, do you remember?
I think they recommend.
Did they recommend as well? I think of what, two separate, it's dipping in the memory bank here. Fine. I think they did make two motions because you had brought it up.
Yeah,
I think they went with the recommendation for the waiver first, and then they went back and got the stormwater.
yeah, because there was a separate agreement for that.
Yeah, so I agree. I think there should be a,
I have copies of that letter too.
yeah, the February 26th letter didn't need to change. It had those in there.
Yeah.
Because of, yeah, so it would be for the board to act on the waivers of section 305, 306, and 307.
Okay, so we would need a motion to approve those waivers as well, correct? Okay, do they have to be done independently?
Planning commission did all of them together.
Yeah.
So they did one as one? Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the waivers.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Motion to approve the polling place agreement for 2024. I have your aerial here if you'd like it.
Sure.
Do you know anything about this? Is
This
this an
came,
annual thing?
yeah, they just want to make sure that we are okay with them using our building for the polling
I thought
place.
that's what it was.
And from what I'm gathering from past years, we've never charged anything for it. So I just wanted to get your approval, just to make sure that you guys are aware that they're gonna use the building again unless we have a problem with it.
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
I will second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the contribution to Lifeline for 2022 for $7,210. We covered that and we
Agree to that.
agreed to that. So I'll make a motion we approve.
I will second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the municipal sponsorship to Albright College.
In the past, we have donated $100 to them for the Friends contribution. I don't know if we want to do any more, or stick with the $100.
I didn't think that was an option on the sheet.
Okay.
No, I think we should do it with $100 again. I'll make a motion that we give them $100.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Old business. Is there any old business? No, not that I know of. Engineers report.
Starting with the solar farm, they've currently been requesting our office as well as the conservation district to specify when they would be able to start work. We're working through that. There may be a start date close to April. We're kind of waiting for some responses from them and clarification from the conservation district, but everything points to they will be looking to get back in there, and from what I've heard, they've started moving some equipment or getting back on to trying some of the equipment out there, but really no work at this point. Other than that, just to provide an update on the Kurtz property, Keelstone has been in direct contact with with Ron and his wife about that strip of property in there, and they've come to an agreement on how that will be addressed. So that will move forward. And they,
Between the two of them.
you know, they've discussed how that will move forward. Other than that, unless there's any questions there.
Nope.
All right. For the open space, I think Robbie has more of an update on that than I do.
Can we talk about that now? or-
I don't, if you want to touch on that now, or you can talk about that on his report, or.
Let's just give us a quick once over of when do you think that's gonna happen?
Well, I'm not really sure when it's gonna happen, but we need to determine what we're gonna do with the open space and what we want Grande to do, as far as an agreement before it gets dedicated, before we take it over. I'm not sure. We're working on a plan to some sort of park. We got some quotes, I guess, from a grant writer and, an architect to design something, but we just need to decide what we want to do as a whole, to present to the architect to come up with a plan so that Grande can proceed with donating, if you want to call it, time to do certain things there. We just need to decide what we want to do, I guess.
Well, I know Brian's wants to be involved with that whole thing. So I guess what we should do is work, I know he's been working behind the scenes and that, trying to get somewhere with that. I don't know where he is, but I'm sure they want to do this. They want to dedicate this sooner rather than later.
Right.
And, but we should make certain that we have whatever we can get, you know.
Yeah, to that end, they have the streetlights that finished, but at this point, the two streetlights that remain, they need to coordinate with PP&L to do so. And PP&L won't do that work until the streetlight agreement is signed. And Chris did not want to move forward with that until we're ready to officially take over dedication. Otherwise, there'd have to be a separate agreement entered into between the township and them for just the streetlights. So Grande is looking, and they've said, look, we're kind of at the point where we're ready to move forward and complete this. We'd like to move it forward. And the answer is the township is too, but they want to make sure that they have everything lined up to do so. But I think going into the next meeting, that's probably when we're looking to try to finalize the decision on taking over the dedication as well as the open space. So I think we have that lined up for the next meeting. That's in line.
Yeah, make sure that gets on the agenda.
Absolutely.
But I'll talk to Brian in the meantime.
Yeah, there's a couple moving parts there, and I don't think
Yeah.
all of it's nailed down yet.
Are we waiting for anything else from Grande?
No, they have
No more punch list items?
They have legal descriptions provided for all the easements, the roadway, right-of-ways. And unless there's any other glaring items, maybe we ought to just take a quick look just to make sure there isn't something sticking out. But I think really they still have to go, they have to get out there. They have to regrade the smaller side of Rhino where they kind of have their spoils and everything over there. They still have to do that work, and they're going to tie that into whatever they may need to do on the field side, because there's talks of the regrading, but they're not looking to jump in there this week or next week anyway, so.
Till next month, if you can just make a good review, make sure we didn't miss anything.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
because there was a lot involved there.
Is there anything, Robbie, with the timing of with the grant, or does that work for,
They
That discussion.
want to start in April.
they want to start in April?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're looking for a motion tonight for the grant writing and for the design, between the two quotes that we got, so they can start the process, because we have the ARPA funds that we want to use, along with grant writing and such.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that later down.
Yep.
Down the road there. All right.
I have one question. So we're talking about the property behind my property. That's what we're talking about. So I had been talking to Grande about trying to connect my property to public sewer, which the manhole that I would need to cut into is on that property. So if the township takes over that property and I don't get my agreement with Grande in time, is there gonna be a problem with me getting, I'm assuming, an easement to connect to that? I mean, is the township gonna give me a hard time over that?
I don't know why we would.
I mean, it's underground,
Yeah, it's,
and right now it's just a pile of dirt.
right, we're not crossing any roads there. Right?
No.
So,
No, it's, I think, I'd have to go, measure it, but I'm probably 40 feet off of my line, off of my property line into that space to connect to that manhole. Because that would be gravity fed from my building, where if I go up to Walnut Town Road, I gotta do a grinder and a pump.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't, I mean, it's
I
probably.
mean, right now,
something
we're
to
asking Grande for permission to go underneath, but if you guys take over that property, then I guess, then it's on me asking you guys to,
might be in your best interest to work it out with Grande ahead of time, just to make it easier. I mean, I don't see a
and then
problem.
that would just be a condition of sale with you guys, that's already
Right.
understood.
Condition of something, yes.
I mean, it'd be better to get it done before the township does whatever they want to do, not that.
We don't have a clear plan for what we're gonna do.
Right, but if we turn it into a park or something, and then I decide to go back and dig up whatever you did, if I can get it done sooner rather than later, right now, it's just a big old pile of dirt that's, I mean, you all know what it looks like.
Yeah, I think it'd be cleaner if we did it now.
Did it now and got it over with,
That's, Scott writes with Spec Beck
Yeah.
for that. I mean, I can just, ask him if there's anything we're missing there too, but.
Yeah.
And technically, I don't think the sewer's been dedicated yet either, or, well, no, it's probably active and has been, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
All right, well, I'll keep in touch with Grande, but.
And you would check with
Question.
Scott,
Yeah,
make certain there's nothing there.
let them know it was asked and just see what process or anything needs to be done for the sewer end of it.
Yeah, I mean, Grande really didn't have an issue with it, again, because I'm putting it underground and it's
Yep.
over and done with. I'm not disturbing the road or anything like that, so.
2024 street project.
So that list there, I mean, we just got this too, I just got this to Robbie today to be able to even look at it for the first time with the numbers. I don't necessarily know if there was a set list of streets here that we'd be going with, but I think the intent was to try to work with what the budget was.
What was the budget? Anybody know?
It's $200,000 from liquid fuels and then $200,000.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So it looks like we do about half of it here.
yeah, because we exceeded it by exactly 50%.
And that was, the list Robbie knew was gonna be a little above and beyond as far as what the budget allows for, but
Because it's options.
yes.
Yeah.
Um,
We realistically don't bid this till April of doing it. When do we put this out to bid?
We've,
I thought it was,
it's been in the past, I mean, I only know the past 2 years is somewhere around the February to April timeframe in there, but
do you remember, Robbie, where we behind this?
I think we're still on track. I said to Scott, if we just, I think we did it before, Chris recommended that we do like a motion or something. I don't know, you can explain it, I don't remember.
just try to, if you wanted to try to allow us to start with submitting the preliminary streets as a project to PennDOT for their review for the liquid fuels, so we can get that moving, make a recommendation based off of discussion between myself and Robbie on what streets we'd like to do within the budget, not to exceed $400,000 to get the process started to prepare the contract documents.
Yeah, we should do that.
Makes sense.
So we'd be looking to
Authorize
just
preparation of
authorize
the contract.
preparation. Yeah, I'll make a motion, we authorize the preparation for $400,000 with PennDOT. All in favor? And then Robin, you can just kind of go through here and see what you think. I'd really like to get the building done though, if you can factor that into the equation.
Yeah, some of those numbers too, depending on if we tweak the construction that I'm proposing, they could possibly come down. I'm trying to at least give the highest number budget there on those parts.
We gotta leave something here next year.
Okay, and then we have that one. The next one is Willow Street Industrial Land Development Plan, which is part of the Desco building. And Nick is here if anybody has any questions. This plan had been approved previously and the board, maybe misspeaking when I say this, but I think it was reaffirmed the approval of those plans to allow this to move forward with the understanding that the improvements agreement or stormwater agreement that had to be updated would be updated, as well as the financial security. We're looking to move forward with that, but the one question that came up is on the approved plans, there is a strip of sidewalk, an ADA ramp and curb that really comes off of the driveway and goes to the railroad tracks, and that's it. I would guess that the intent was to connect into Fleetwood if those sidewalks were to ever be constructed up to the railroad tracks, and then there's at least a connecting point if pedestrians are gonna go that way. There hasn't been anything in the borough that would connect the two properties on the other side of the tracks, and the request is to alter the improvements agreement, or I should say the escrow, to remove those. And to do so, Matt, Chris, and Michelle here had recommended amending the plan. If the Board of Supervisors is agreeable to amending the plan to remove this curb and sidewalk, it could be done by a resolution that would also provide language should the township elect at a point in the future for the curb and sidewalk to be required. Typically, that agreement will say the township notifies and within 90 days, 120 days, then the improvements should be in place. Per our review, it's really kind of a sidewalk that goes nowhere. There's really nothing that connects it. And typically, unless you're tying into something, it's not really recommended to construct a sidewalk that pushes everybody right back out to the street.
The resolution would be looking into the future, should there be something to connect to?
The resolution would be created as part of the agreements that are needed to move, the improvements agreement that secures the security there for the costs. We'd also record the resolution so that clearly states basically the deferral of the curb and sidewalk. At some point, the township would choose to, so. Yeah, in this situation, we're looking for the board to, if you agree, amend the plan to remove the curb and sidewalk by resolution.
Anything you'd like to add to this?
Yeah, when we looked at it, it was on the original plan from years ago, and I think there was some talks at some point, but those have not, has not progressed, and really it's a sidewalk that would come off of our driveway in there and end at the railroad track. So and then there's no sidewalks actually up on the other side of the road going up to tie into Fleetwood. So it would be an orphan strip of sidewalk there that would really never get used. I mean, now, if you're open to it, I'd like not to put them in this time, but if down the road, if there is a connect up, we would put them in, and that's really what the agreement would memorialize.
Does that make sense to you, Ted?
Scott basically covered everything that we need to talk about. I know Chris, Michelle, Scott, and I have been exchanging emails about this topic, so we're kind of on top of it as well.
It sounds like we're covered if we do need it in the future.
Yeah, I don't see any wisdom in putting a road to nowhere.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I do like having the resolution, and if there is some place to go eventually, that, So what are we what do you need from us tonight? Just a motion to approve the
Motion to-
resolution?
Amend the plan for the removal of the curb and the sidewalk by resolution.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We amend the plan by resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
And the other item was the 222 widening. We had really discussed that. I don't know if it really needs a motion from the board to have me complete that form. It's pretty straightforward, and the township should complete that. The only thing I would ask is if there's any other comments or requests you have to go along with that. I have noted the request plans.
It's Rob, yeah.
We'll make a motion to make it. I'll make a motion that Scott complete the form.
The next report.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's official.
Second that motion.
Yes, sir. Solicitors report.
Yes.
Delinquent sewer.
Yes, the first item in the report is the account summary for the delinquent sewer. This summary was included with the packet. The only update we have is that for the Justin and Ashley Schilling account, originally we had a lien filed against them. We tried to work out a payment plan with them, but they never responded to our payment plan notifications. So I prepared a civil complaint to send to the MDJ for the amount of unknown sewer bills plus the lien that's been filed. I gave that to Cynthia, our paralegal, to file last week. I followed up with her to make sure that's filed. So that's the only item to discuss on the sewer report unless you have any questions on.
I just so we're aware, I just got another call today on the 391 Park. They are going to be, that's on the very first page.
Okay.
They are going to be settling on that hopefully in the next 2 weeks, so hopefully we will get money for that, to take that off of the list. They've been trying to close on that property for a few months now, but looks like it might be happening.
No help.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't interrupt.
Oh, no, I wasn't aware of that. So
That's okay.
Yes. Next item on the report is a motion to approve resolution 2024-12. This is to approve an intergovernmental working agreement with Albany Township. This is to just corporate sharing of road maintenance equipment and manpower.
And I think we went through all of this.
Yes. So I would just need a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-12 with Albany Township.
I will second.
All in favor? Aye.
The second resolution tonight is a resolution 2024-13. It's to authorize the township to enter into an intergovernmental cooperative agreement for the purchase and utilization of a chip spreader and tar machine with Albany Maxotawny Township.
That's what we talked about.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-13 with Maxotawny Township.
I will second.
All in favor? Aye.
That's all from me.
That's it?
Yes.
Alrighty. Stack back engineering. Looks like we have some pipe scoping to do.
That was actually done, I think, today, Robbie, right?
Yeah, they did the rest of, pretty sure they did the rest of Wallatown, what was required. There's a little bit of a problem behind the Wallatown Fire Company. There's a line behind the fire company and it heads towards Pleasant Hill Road, goes behind the houses at Pleasant Hill Road. and runs down the crisscross.
Okay.
They could not do any of that because there's no place to access it anywhere. So Scott's gonna look up if there's some type of easement somewhere, but there's trees, it's growing up all over the place there. So Scott's gonna have to do some research on that to see what, what's required there or what we can do there so we can access the manholes.
So there's one existing, we can't get to it, or there weren't?
What's that?
I said there's no existing manhole, or we just can't get to it?
No, the manholes are there. There's no path to get a vehicle
Oh,
to the area.
Yeah, you have to drive through Sandy's field.
Yeah, well,
There's
that's,
one right behind our fire company, you have to go down over the tank to get it. So.
yeah,
They got the truck with the equipment in it. They can't get to it.
not today, you won't.
no.
Okay. So they did basically the part in orange here on my little map here.
Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
What do we have left?
That's it for
I was
Walnut.
gonna say we have to do that.
Yeah, we're done with that.
Okay. Good. Alrighty. Motion to approve the chapter 94 reports for Virginville and Walnut Town. I read over that, one into the other. Looks like everything is in good shape.
Yeah, it's just the flows and it's
The
good.
flows are good. There's no red flags or anything. I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Miscellaneous business, any miscellaneous business? From anybody? No. Roadmasters report.
The only thing I really need to discuss is, we talked about selling the zero turn since we have a replacement for it. It's a 2013, it only has 350 hours on it. But I was just curious if you had a reserve or a starting price for what we wanted to put on it for the use of it.
I don't, but, are you sure you want to sell
I mean, we don't have to.
it? I mean, I'm just looking down the road
Yeah.
with the Grande property, and, might be good to have around as a backup.
Anyway, we can keep it.
Yeah, I just don't know that we're not gonna get rich on it, you know, it may come in real handy one day. I'm thinking maybe we just, because we're gonna be in the grass mowing business here before you know it. I'd hang loose on that for now.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I think we can sell it anytime, but I don't know that we should be in a hurry to right now.
At least see how mowing the open space goes.
Exactly.
To start.
There might be good application for that machine,
Yeah.
and we might be kicking ourselves. I don't want to do
That's fine.
that. Anything else cropping out there?
The only thing I asked, I forget this guy's name here. What's your name?
Michael.
Okay. The only thing I asked is, if I'm right, you want to go with your sewer line, like where those dirt piles are?
Well, yeah, I mean, the dirt piles are more towards the borough side.
Okay.
The manhole is closer to the street.
Right. Okay.
So we,
The only thing I would ask is that we be involved with that somewhat,
we definitely would be.
because we could possibly tap in for a bathroom there if we choose to put a bathroom in. There's also potential to be footers for a pavilion and a playground or whatever, so the layout could determine where that stuff would go, so.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would definitely, and it's not like it's not gonna happen anytime real soon. I mean, I would assume, you know, the way you guys are in talks with Grande already, you're gonna own it by the time I wanna put that sewer in. Because it sounds like this is gonna happen sooner rather than later. They want it off of their books, and you guys wanna get moving, so the likelihood of me doing the sewer while Grande owns it is probably limited. But when I started talking to them about it, that whole property was, you know, nobody wanted to claim it. The school said not us, borough said not us, you guys said not us, and it was kind of like a hot potato there for a while. And so Grande had actually approached us to add it to our land, because it's right there. but then,
Yeah, it's just too restricted.
well, yeah, whatever it was, I mean, I think if they give it to me or sell it to me for little or nothing, as opposed to if they give it to you, they can inflate the number and get a huge, deduction. So if I pay them 10 grand or they give it to you, they're gonna say it's worth, 300 grand and take a big ass write-off is what they're gonna do, so.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that land is dedicated open space for the development.
Yeah, according to, so I'm told it's not from everything that the research we did, because the whole open space thing was part of the agreement with the school, which nobody can seem to find the agreement with the school. That was the biggest problem with that piece of property, that the school agreed that they were gonna take it over and put a ball field there, but then when it came time, school administration had changed, and it seemed like everything was kind of.
Yeah, I think the agreement with the school never really got
Right,
executed.
right.
It was just basically kind
But
of more or
but
less.
nevertheless, I mean, one way or the other, I'm not getting the property, and I'm fine with that. I just would, but yes, I would definitely make sure the borough's involved, the township's involved if we connect. Obviously, you're gonna have to be involved if we connect, but it's not gonna be an anytime real soon project.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, keep, looping that whole thing. Because, I mean, ultimately, we'll probably look at putting a bathroom or something over there, and we'd have to coordinate that around that anyway, so. But, yeah, that should.
I mean, my biggest problem was, I didn't mind having the property behind my property. I didn't want the big retention pond
Oh,
on
yeah.
the side, and they wanted.
Nobody wanted that.
Right, they wanted all of it to go together, and I said, no, I don't mind paying for what's behind me, but I don't want that, that big retention pond. That's, nobody, like you said, nobody wants to do that. So that was my killer.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep working our way through that then. Hopefully get some action on that this year, I would think. Anything else, Robbie?
That's all I have.
All right. Secretary's report. Payment of the bills.
In the general fund, we had check numbers 11355 to 11386, including EFTs for $140,489.06.
I'll make a motion to pay it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
State fund, there were no checks. Light fund, check numbers 2169 for $780.09.
I'll make a motion to pay it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Sewer fund, check numbers 3181 to 3185, including EFTs for $20,201.24.
I'll make a motion to pay it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Walnut Town Fire Escrow, check number 2175 for $741.
I'll make a motion to pay it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Virginville Fire Escrow, check numbers 2175 and 2176 for $842.
I'll make the motion to pay it.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
We did receive our cable TV franchise fee in the amount of $18,512.56 this month, along with our liquid fuels. Liquid fuels, we had, our grant money was $204,334.91 that we received for that. And we have a reduction in real estate tax. I think you have copies of that in your packets there. Just need a motion to approve that.
Oh, we'll do that. I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
One of the items that we needed to decide when we do the settlement of the roads with Grande is the lights. When we are ready to do that, I reached out to Linda Weaver because we have to do, put a levy for the lights on all properties. in that development. She gave me a few different types of means of how we're gonna have to do that, whether we're going to wait till next year and bill it starting January, or if we're going to prorate it, or how we wanna start billing that, because that's gonna have to go out, billing cycle starting June 1st. So we're gonna have to have the tax levies on there, and we have to figure out how we're going to actually bill for that.
So we won't be paying that until June. That's what you're saying.
Well, the next billing cycle, for the people that are gonna be getting their taxes that have the light will be in June.
June.
So we have to have our decision as to how they're going to get billed for that before then, so I can enter the information into the system for that.
How's what normally bill it? I mean, how do you even come up with a rate? I'm not even sure how it's done.
I mean, we have the percentage that we normally bill for everyone else for the lights. It's just, since we're going in the middle of the year instead of the beginning of the year, starting it that time, unless the township pays for it for the remainder of the year, once they actually get turned on, and then starting January, we start billing it.
Because they are on now, aren't they?
No.
Are they on?
No. They're not gonna be turned on until the road dedication, correct?
Yeah, they aren't turning those on until the lighting's complete, and then that gets into this cycle of the last two that need to go up.
Does that go on the other bill for all the other lights in the township? So we all pay taxes, we all pay a bill for all the lighting, that's all the street lights. Everybody pays all the taxes on that. I think these guys take 15 or 20 bucks out of that each person.
The one we're talking about now would be just for the residents
Residents,
of
Yes.
Willow Creek, yeah. This will.
it wouldn't be for us that we pay for it.
No, it's just for the new development.
I understand.
But in the, I mean, in today's LED world, we're probably not talking about a great deal of money there, are we?
I would imagine
Cheaper.
I do know it's a lot cheaper, I just don't know what the numbers
It's
are.
just expensive to put it in.
Yeah, and maintain it. Is there a factor for maintenance in that whole thing?
No.
Is that factored into the equation? Should be.
I mean, we have some time. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of addresses that have to get entered into the system, but it's something that we need to think about as to how we're gonna build this into the
I
system.
would start it at the beginning of the year,
Okay,
because right now, we don't even have an idea of what this is gonna cost. And the other thing we don't want to overlook is the fact that someone's gonna have to maintain these. LED lights do not last forever, contrary to popular belief.
right.
So, we should come up with a reasonable amount to put in there yearly. And,
For maintenance along with,
because I mean, I probably could come up with an idea what it would cost if I knew the number of lights. I think it would be more fair for the people of the development after we have an idea what it actually costs us.
okay, to start at the
So why
beginning of the
don't we
year.
actually look at doing that the first of the year?
I agree. It's not gonna cost much for the second half of the year.
Yeah, and it's-
Yeah.
We're not talking about one.
Right, okay. The only other thing I have in your packets is the quotes that we had gotten for the grant writing and, the design drawing between Barry Isid and Associates and Watkins Architect. I did reach out to Chris Hartman and asked him to review it, to get his opinion on it. And he did recommend approving the Watkins proposal if you guys were in agreement with it, along with Sarah's grant writing.
And that was just for task one here, the 4750, right?
Mhm.
Sure, obviously. Yeah, look through it, it seems reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what great writing costs. Cost money to get one.
Right, right.
So,
And she's gonna walk us through the process and get everything done properly.
well, we have to start somewhere, don't we?
Next plan.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the fee of $47.50 for Watkins Architects to get this thing started.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
And that's all I have.
Chairman's report. The chairman is not here, so he has no report. Public participation, anything from anybody out there?
Well, I had a question.
Sure.
The bridge in Timothy Drive, I was talking to him about it. You guys are still waiting for permits for that, correct?
I'm sorry, I missed the first.
The bridge for Timothy Drive.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, if we doing anything, we got
You
any?
waiting for permits for it to come down or?
There's, so basically, we're looking at we're kind of in, like 2 steps. One, trying to coordinate with UGI to just try to understand exactly what it is they are looking for, and what we can do around that. The other part of it is trying to see what pipes or structures we can put in there, because the biggest problem is just the clearance, and how big can you make this and still not have a extremely high price structure that goes in there.
You got one wire going there, that's a 220, I think, it's going to double wide. And I gave a pole. He needed a pole, and I got one for him. We put it up higher. The wire man came in and put it up. They made it was really low. I mean, the trash trucks were hitting it. So I gave him a higher pole, and they put it up. Greg did. And got it through med end, and they put it up. Got it down to there. They put it up at, I think it's at 22 feet. Let's say, but it's pretty high.
It's good.
So you can measure it if you want. They put it up pretty high now.
The higher the better.
Yeah, because the trash trucks were coming through, they were hitting it, that thing was going back and forth.
We're really just trying to get the utility coordination taken care of, and at that point, then we can start running the permits part. But that's where we're at. I think once we get that cleared up, we can kind of hit the ground running with that and get it
That
going.
gas pipe's what, 1 foot under there? 1 foot under the bridge, or is it lower? It's 3 feet, ain't it?
I think so, but they're willing to relocate that as part of the
Put it
project.
down lower.
Basically, just drop it to wherever we.
They were there the other week checking it out, it's pretty high.
But again,
9 o'clock in the morning.
there's only so far we can go down anyway before
That's
it
right.
really helps. You have to go down so far, but then we still need to try to get a bigger area in there.
I understand.
Yeah, the goal is to get a box culvert in there one way or the other. But we're working our way through it.
All right,
Stand by.
that's good.
Okay.
I know we're gonna get some heavy rain coming.
Yeah. Every day.
Yeah. So,
Anything else? Make a motion, we adjourn? All in favor?
I think she wanted that.
So the guys at Chris Cost got everything you need?
Yeah.
Who are you waiting on to start taking them? Birch, the engineer?